Are we ready?
Yes, now we're recording. All right, let's
Okay.
go.
All right. It is 4:04 p.m. on Tuesday, January 26th. I call the meeting of the Simon Fairfield Public Library Trustees to order. We have a quorum. Everyone received the minutes from last meeting, from the December meeting. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to go through them. I open the floor to any comments, corrections, questions. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from December.
So moved.
Second?
Aye. Oh, no, I can't. I
No, do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
All
So
those
that
in
was
favor?
moved by Kate and seconded by
Nick.
Nick.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? All right, moving on to the financial report.
We received a $1,000 donation from Wayne Shoemate. He was the gentleman who came up from down south and did all of that research with Rebecca about the Coppola family. I guess it was 2 years ago now. He sent a $1,000 donation last year,
Right.
basically
Wow.
saying this is for Rebecca to improve the archive, and then he did it again this year too. So now Rebecca has $2,000 to improve the archive, and we got to talk about how we're going to use it to improve the archive. And we received a $50 donation from Shirley Mazinski for the interest-bearing building fund, and we received a $100 donation from Victoria Giancola, who just chose to pass along her COVID relief fund to her favorite institutions, of which we are one. Our account summary down here is.
Wait a minute. Where from the south is Wayne from?
I think Georgia.
And how did he,
Our internet connection is unstable.
Okay, so it's across the board?
It's across the board. This is not good.
Oh, man. Yeah, I just got the thing too.
I read something about that. Google's having problems. Well, I guess, is that not really Google, right? All over the place.
I'm fine.
I seem
It's
okay.
okay.
Yeah, we just kind of went in and out. Rebecca, I think he's from Georgia. Rebecca, where's Wayne from?
Carolina.
Carolina. One of the
There you go.
Carolinas, either north or south, one of them.
I think it's
20 minutes away. Oh, that's out west.
good.
When you ask for
North
something
Carolina,
for
from
something,
North
they say no
Carolina.
matter what it is, they say 20 minutes. And 3 days later, you're still driving.
To, just
Okay. Are we back?
and we've got at the bottom of that report, I put out what's been reserved for the building project. So our total balance for the building goal right now is $90,026.31, which puts us at 22.5% of the way there.
I lost your visual, but I can bring it up. Did everyone lose the visual
Yes.
of the
Yeah,
director's
you
report?
lost your screen share, Justin.
Is it back or is it?
Well, I have it here on my computer,
Uh-oh.
so I can refer to it that way.
Returning to meeting, share screen.
Okay, we have it
All
back.
right, I think we're good
Okay.
now. We're
And
there.
you're recording still, right?
It says we're still recording to the cloud.
Okay.
Or we're recording to the cloud, not this computer. So hopefully that won't be affected by the library's internet connection.
Okay. All right. So,
Did everyone get the gist of it or?
yes, yep.
Did you talk through it? Because I didn't hear you talking.
Not much other than just to say everything's normal.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Everything's normal and we're 22.5% of the way towards our building renovation goal.
Yep, that's pretty good. We're working on it. Okay, ready to move on to the director's report?
For pandemic, open schedule, there's no change. Things seem to be getting better in Massachusetts with the virus in general. And there is talk of library staff being in the vaccination pipeline schedule. So hopefully we'll have some sort of movement forward. We do want to sort of coordinate our opening efforts with the surrounding libraries directors. What we don't want to happen is what happened right before we had to close the second time. Which is where all of the patrons would, flock to whichever library was open, which would endanger low-risk communities from high-risk communities. Because, as soon as a community gets determined a high-risk community, their library shuts down, their patrons start skipping to the low-risk communities, which defeats the entire purpose. So the Blackstone Valley Library directors, we kind of want to open at the same time if possible.
That makes sense.
Well, what criteria would you use? I mean, would you, if 75% of the Blackstone Valley Library is open, would you open then? Or are you waiting for 100%, which I would not favor at all? And it looked like from past reports that not all of them have opened as much as you have opened. So, I don't see, I can see if it starts getting bad, you can close it down like you are now. But, I hope you'll leave your options open. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not setting any specific set criteria. A lot of library directors have made this, we've got phase 2, step 1, tier 3, bullet point 4. If this happens, we're committing to this action. I've never been on board with that. If it looks like it's safe to open, I want to open. If it looks like it's not safe to be open, I don't want to be open. And, a lot will just kind of depend on what's happening in Douglas, what's happening in surrounding communities, and, what's going on with our staff. And, how, viable it is to keep everybody safe. Another thing I'm working on right now is, the tax season is on us. And, I really want to get, the printer, faxing, copying, all that service up and running. But we're really struggling to find a safe way to do it. I've thought about putting a copying machine in the lobby and shutting the internal doors so people could just come in and out and use the service and then sort of clean up after themselves. But, you know, then is that safe for patrons coming in and out? And I've got to have some conversations with the Board of Health about that.
No, I think you would need to sanitize the copy machine every time someone used it.
And then you have, you know, then you're putting staff out there again. You know,
Exactly. I don't think that's a good idea. One thing I
like
have,
everything has domino effects in terms of like what you try to do.
exactly. One thing I have seen people requesting several times recently, and I'm not sure if it's because it's tax season, but looking for a notary. And
I have been doing notary services outside, and that's on the website. If you want notary services, call. I'll meet you in the parking lot. We'll spread everything out on the hood of your car and go. That's something I'm comfortable with doing with outdoors. So definitely send them our way.
okay. All right. I think we're good with that, right?
In terms of circulation, December circulation was actually way up. 2020, I think, will be known as the year that nobody could do anything for the holidays, so they stayed home and read books instead. The deliveries
Whatever
got,
it takes.
That sounds like a perfect holiday.
the deliveries got pretty intense the last few weeks of December. The mileage on the routes increased, and the amount of books that Gail was having to deliver increased. You know, usually she can fit all the books that she delivers on her route in the cab of her pickup truck, in one or two of the interlibrary loan bins. And towards the end of December, she was having to put one or two in her cab and then put more in the back. So, I mean, she was like making use of the actual bed of the pickup truck.
Many books.
That's a good
So we
story.
actually circulated more in December 2020 than we did in December 2019. 2,112.
You know how the state's always posting stories from libraries and things. That might be a little anecdote that they might be interested in. You have a great way with words, Justin. I think that's a great story. I really do. It tells us some of the positive things that have come out of these times.
Mhm.
People are forced to stay home and read.
Force them to read. I always say that's our goal, is force people to read.
You're not leaving the table till you clean your plate. Finish that book. I think that's great. Anyhow, whatever. Digital loans, yeah, you would expect that. I think the rest of it is pretty, nothing really jumps out at me. But I think you're doing a great job.
Gail does all the delivery at this point.
I think she enjoys doing things like that.
Well, I enjoyed it too earlier in the pandemic too, getting out and, you know, I learned a lot about Douglas that I didn't know before. And,
Yeah.
Everybody has a pet, right? That's what I learned.
mhm.
All right, moving on to old business and building projects. Okay, Jeff Grenier is the electrician, right?
Yes, Jeff Grenier is the electrician. He's tackling this a bit at a time. He's got some pretty significant back problems.
Oh, no.
So he's come in on 3 separate occasions. Where we are at right now, the light that caught on fire in the basement has been replaced. The emergency light above the circulation desk has been replaced. The floor plugs all over the first floor that failed inspection have been capped off.
Good.
And the electrical outlet has been installed in the bathroom halfway down the stairs. The non-safety outlets around the children area still have to be replaced, or there's like just regular outlets that don't have any kind of safety thing. The inspector didn't like that.
Okay.
So we've got to replace those with better ones. We've got to install 2 new outlets on each side of the front door so that whenever we put the computers back there, we don't have to run electrical cords around the pillars that are out there. And the emergency light in the basement right now still has to be hardwired into a circuit breaker instead of plugged into an outlet. Apparently that's a no-no.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. We're more than halfway done.
Well,
Although like the floor caps, I mean, I think it just makes it more likely for kids to want to play with them because now you've got these cool little caps that you can like flip up on the floor electrical outlets and they can, well,
yeah, but can they?
whenever
All
we're open again, you'll have to come see them. They're neat.
right. I think we'll do it.
But they have the same
I'll make an
effect on me as
appointment.
those little door stop boingers do. I mean, you just can't resist but tweak them.
That's right.
Oh my God, my mother used to have those in her house. And every child that went through that house would drive you crazy. There were several children who were raised there and it'd be boing, 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 boing. Okay, hot water heater. We're just,
A hot water heater, there's good and kind of bad news. The good news is that we're at a place where we can move forward if we choose to do so. The bad news is that I'm not really sure it's in anybody's best interest to do so. I was thinking that the best thing to do would be to stick 2 tankless water heaters next to each of the sinks where we want hot water. Once Jeff looked at the wiring, he said we needed to stick with something that was 12 amps or under to avoid flipping the breakers unless we wanted to significantly rewire stuff. The tankless things, the things that just instantly heat hot water, take a lot more amps. So we would have to run heavier gauge cable and put in new breakers. That would be expensive to do. So what we would want to do is we would want to go with small tanks, like little mini tanks next to each sink. So there's like 1.5 gallon mini tanks that run $174 a piece, which he said would work. They make a 2.5 gallon tank that's $156. Those are the cheapest ones I was able to find. But I mean, it's almost twice as big, so you're keeping twice as much hot water warm. And, it begs the question, why not do the upfront cost and then save the electricity in the long run, since that's the goal anyway. But since I was talking to them about it, word got out, and I was gently reminded that I'm not allowed to do this because any plumbing work has to be done by a licensed plumber and inspected. And I don't have an estimate on it yet.
I understand.
But the ballpark average tank installation for these is about $805 to $1,000 a unit, because plumbers. But that includes the tank and the hardware. I've talked to Matt, Adam, Jeff, and Socias about this, and everyone seems puzzled about it every time I talk about it. Because, they say we have a working system that produces hot water and back up extra heat when needed. They say we're going to have to run the boiler on a low setting anyway, because if we don't, it's going to rust and it's going to ruin. And they're already worried about the frequency with which we're refueling the tank, because we're using fuel at such a low rate already that if we refuel it any less, then we're going to run into jellifying problems, which actually is a real word. I looked it up.
Yes. No.
And the other point they had is oil's not that expensive. So basically, Jeff and Adam are like, you're bypassing a working economical infrastructure with a new infrastructure that isn't going to replace the old infrastructure. It's just going to run on top of it and provide less functionality because we're only going to be supplying 2 sinks with hot water instead of 3. The town isn't going to let us get rid of the boiler. They're not going to let us turn it off because that's going to make it rust and the water is going to, cause condensation and it's going to ruin the machine. So, I mean, at this point, everybody's advising us not to do this.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I'm curious it sounds like the town does not want the library to become handicapped accessible at all. So let's just throw away all that money too, because we're preparing ourselves by freeing up that room, which we're going to use as a bathroom, by getting rid of the furnace, getting rid of the oil tank in the other room, for this handicapped accessibility. And it's out the window. If those guys think that we have to have a backup system for everything, I think it's a little bit crazy. I really do. I question what the backup system is at the municipal center. I don't think
I have a
they have one.
question. I have a question. Is there a law that says the library has to provide hot water?
I don't know. I don't know if there is or not.
Look, we have a system that works. It's not Mickey Mouse. It's working. It does everything we need. When we do a lot of renovations for handicapped accessible, we can revisit it. But for right now, it's great to just keep the system we've got and make everybody happy, and it works great. Why Mickey Mouse up the system?
I agree.
Good point. Yeah, I think we're looking, Ellie, and I totally understand your point, and I agree with you. But for right now, I don't know how much we should push back on this. I think we could, like Betty says, let it go for now and revisit it when we get close to coming up with a plan for using that space, and then look at it and then push back on it.
Well, it doesn't get us in good standing if all those people that were going to need their support for the renovation, if we go against their recommendations.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay,
answer
well,
the question about
how
the law
much-
right now. I don't know.
How much would you have to run the heat so it's not so minimally used, or to avoid the jellification or whatever you called it, of the fuel? And is the town willing to up your budget so you can afford to run it more lengthy? What would you do? Would you do you lower the heating from the electricity and just turn on the furnace, or do you do it at night only? Use the furnace at night, or what's the plan there?
Mm.
Right now, we keep the boiler on a, well, Adam sets the boiler to a temp. It has a specified temperature it's supposed to run at. I have been turning it down, and he's been turning it back up. And so it's kind of just been like a back and forth kind of thing. And it's, so like if it's down, then like we're basically just keeping the flame going like barely above a pilot light. So it just sips oil, but it keeps condensation from going. Whereas if it's up, it's actually keeping it at like a hot water tank kind of temperature,
Right.
which keeps the, which lets the sinks run hot water. And then if the thermostat, which is in my office up here, registers below 64 degrees, then it kicks on the radiators, which it does periodically. And every now and then, if it gets like super cold, I'll bump it up because the library's kind of zoned around.
Mhm.
Regarding the budget, it's already in the budget because the town, it's the 5-year heating, or the 5-year plan. Let's see, where is the, I think it's going to be easier to find in my email than it is in file. Just,
Right. Well, another point to consider too is at which point the building is opened and children are able to be in the building. The water temperature by regulation for early childhood is, I forget the exact temperature, but you have to be able to hold your hand under the faucet and not pull it back because it feels hot, is the basic rule of thumb. I forget the exact temperature. So by turning the temperature down on the water, you're saying that you're complying with young children coming into the building.
Yeah, we have an $876 heating budget next year for oil.
That's crazy.
And how many times do you get to fill up the tank? That sounds like a one fill up time.
No, it's got to be at least 2.
Yeah, that's about 2 fill-ups.
Oh, and we easily.
If
you
it's
said
completely
and you
empty.
said it's full right now, right?
Yeah, it's full. I had Socias fill it up in on when did I get yelled at?
That was a couple months ago. November, the end of October, going into November.
Yep, Socia.
So this is for fiscal year 21 or 22?
21. Oh, for 22.
Is
Yeah,
it the same
October
for 21?
31st, they filled up the tank.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you got.
because it was empty, because it hadn't been filled up in over a year. And so Socia filled it all the way up, which generated, the big bill, which
How much was that bill?
it was accounts. Give me 2 seconds. It was $402.99.
All right, so next year's budget would be for 2 tankfuls.
2 tankfuls of oil.
Yeah, for 2022.
And what is the budget this year for FY 21? Is it still 875 or
It is-
above or less?
It is, man, I keep closing things before I'm done with them.
Billy.
Budget. 5-year. Right, 21. Go to the budget. Control F. Library. Find. Okay, there we go. 17, 18, 19. 2020. Heating. Oh, it's way back there. Let's highlight this column. It's column 1066. 850. So it goes up to 876.
All right, so it's about the same. So that's money that you're not going to spend that. You're not going to spend that out.
If you got a full tank for $400, you either got an extremely good rate or you have a small tank.
What I'm saying is that money, so what happens with that money? We're
It
not,
goes
that
back
money's
into the
not gonna get
general
spent.
fund. It doesn't go to us. It goes back into the general fund.
Okay.
Well, it's part of
Then
our
they can
operational
hire
budget. At the
new
end of
people
every
and-
year, I spend our operational budget as close to zero as I possibly can.
Okay,
because
all right,
if we
so
have
you can
other
spend it on
unexpended
other-
line items, I'll spend it
All
on ebooks.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about like that line is for fuel.
No,
Oh, okay, perfect. All
I
right,
just have to keep operations and personnel separate.
okay,
I can't
right,
transfer there.
yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
don't let it get empty again. That's not good for the tank.
And don't put
Yeah,
too
I know.
much
I got
in.
yelled at.
We
I
have all
I
the
understand
mothers
a lot
here
more
talking.
about oil now than I did before October.
Usually when it's down 100 gallons, you get it filled.
what's that, a quarter of a tank?
No, I doubt they have a 400 gallon tank. That's a huge tank.
We have like 280 in our house. I don't know what.
You would think the library would have at least 200 for a building that size.
Yeah, our bill wouldn't be 400 to fill it. We just had one, and it was, well, it was close. It was 363.
How big our tank is.
Anyhow,
Danielle, do we need a motion to get this off of the agenda for next month? Are we done with this? We're not
Yeah,
doing
I
it.
think we're
Seems
done
like
with
I'm
this.
the only one in
Yes.
favor of doing it,
I
and
think
everybody else is.
yeah. All right, I'll accept a motion to be done with this until it needs to be revisited at some point.
So
And
moved.
move that we're done with it.
Second,
Second.
all right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Nay, I'll say nay.
You Ellie, didn't you tell me to let it go?
I said, yeah, I said, let's have a motion because we had a motion to resolve it by March. And so
Right.
I'm still in favor of doing what we had planned to do before, because I don't see a need for replicating or not replicating, having backup systems all the time.
Right.
I don't think that
Right.
that's a normal route for municipalities to have
I agree.
backup.
No, I think, yeah. So,
That's why I'm against it. So
oh, okay, all right. So we'll just note that there was one.
it's not that I'm against you, I'm just against this motion,
That's
okay?
okay. Don't take it
I love you
personally,
all.
Ellie. I never do with you. So the ayes have it. Moving on, grants, capital campaign, other LRP updates, director's review. What do you want to do, Justin?
I don't have anything new to report until director's review.
Okay. If anyone has
And
anything to.
there's sort of, I'm still trying to figure out how many gallons our tank holds.
He's going to be down there with a yardstick.
I think tanks are usually 250 or 275. aren't they?
Ours is 280. I know it's 280. Or 275. It's right around there. Yeah.
I think that's 275 is a common one, and maybe 250 also.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know for a municipal building, they might have bigger tanks. I don't know.
Yeah, I know now we're on automatic filling. So like just today, I had an invoice from Peterson Oil. So they came out to automatically fill the tank, but then they just like left a note that said it was full.
Right.
Well, how many gallons did they say?
They have,
215.5 gallons is what Socia's put in it when it was empty.
okay.
Oh, well, then it's a 200 gallon tank. So Peterson must have, how many gallons did they put in today?
I haven't actually looked at that invoice in detail yet.
They've got to tell you how many gallons and how much was it per gallon.
Well, if they put in 215, it's obviously bigger than 200, so it's
Right.
probably 250 or 275.
Yeah.
Today they actually put in 41 gallons today
Yeah. See, we're not using much at all.
Yeah.
at a price of $1.65 per gallon.
Oh,
Ah, that's good.
good. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the regular price.
You.
Yeah, we get like a municipal contract.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so just keep going with that. All right,
I'm gonna go put this back where it goes before I lose it.
all right. So,
All right.
So for 3 months, you've only used 40 gallons. That's not bad.
not bad at all. Well, the building's been closed a lot of the time too.
Yeah, but people
I
have been there.
haven't messed with it either in a while. I've actually let it set at Adam's temperature instead of mine.
Yeah. Well, seems fine. I wouldn't worry about it. The town's not worried. So. We put that in the past. We're done with that. For
We
now.
have been using hot water more for cleaning and sanitizing and stuff.
That's true. Yeah. All right. We're done with hot water.
All right.
Now Justin's in the hot water. We're going to go through his evaluation. Hopefully everyone has.
Two people have not filled this out. There's 8 trustees and only 6 responses.
I'm a guilty one. You want me to still do it?
Barbara.
I know.
At least you admit it.
I did mine.
But I looked through them all today, and I'm in agreement pretty much with what the responses are.
But you have to come up with a goal that we can pencil in, because I think that was a mandatory question.
Right. You have
Oh, the third goal?
Mm-hmm.
at least one goal.
At least one goal.
Okay, I have a goal. In the Blackstone Valley Tribune, every week when it comes out, the Uxbridge Library has all their events listed. And the Whitensville Library has all their events listed. Their Zooms, their onlines, their whatever they have. But the Douglas doesn't have all their events listed. That's where you could put about the delivery. And if there's anything going on Zoom, you could put that. But when we're out of this COVID, all that could be listed too.
So Betty, what is your goal that you're setting for Justin?
Put the Douglas events in the Blackstone Valley Tribune, just like Uxbridge and Whitensville are.
Do they call that the library corner or something?
We'll also add Barbara's paper and the Uxbridge New Times as well.
New Uxbridge Times.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it says library corner or not, but every week
I think it is.
almost every week, both of the towns have all their events listed.
Doesn't hurt. There are people who still read that. There's a lot of people.
I read it. I'm an old person.
That's
the only people that read it. There are old people.
There's been
And
articles
parents
of
with small
interest.
children.
But it's true. But anyhow, we're being non-judgmental here. I think that's a great goal. I hear crickets on Justin's end.
Oh, I'm writing it down. Blackstone Valley Tribune Weekly, get Douglas in the library corner, along with the New Uxbridge Times and the Yankee Express. Was there another one? Blackstone Valley Tribune, New Uxbridge Times.
I'm not sure if they always have all the library in it. I'm not sure about that, but
You know what?
Blackstone Valley Tribune does.
Are they all part of Stonebridge Press?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the
I think so.
Blackstone Valley Tribune is part of the Stonebridge Press.
Are
But
you,
the other
Barbara?
ones are not?
No,
And
Okay,
neither is the New Uxbridge Times.
no, neither is in the Uxbridge Times.
okay.
Those are all
Because
independent.
if they're all related, they're all part of that, then you can do. just
No,
get-
they're all chasing the same ad dollars.
Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
But it's easy. I mean, if you write one press release or news release, you can send it to all three of
Yeah.
us.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, we're good on news releases, the pictures and the articles. We get those. It's just when the other two libraries have all the events and we don't, it's not giving us good publicity. I'm not sure if they're always in the Express and the Uxbridge Times, but they are in the Tribune.
The thing is, we just have not had any really events either.
But the papers don't publish it unless you send it to them. So that means the Whitensville Library and the Uxbridge Library is sending it to that publication.
Well, yeah. How else would it get there?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if you send it, it's published.
But I mean, you could change it around every news release, but you could put in that you have free delivery, as Betty mentioned, and that also talk about the Libby junk and you know, the that you don't have to, you can get all this stuff without being in contact with people. You know, you just get it over onto your computer or whatever.
If you're a Douglas resident is the keywords.
Really?
Yeah, all the stuff that I buy for Libby isn't for everybody. So the like you have to have Douglas as your home library if you want to be able to use our Overdrive Advantage collections. So like if they want to buy extra stuff for their patrons, they can. But like Uxbridge patrons, Northbridge, Sutton, I mean, they can't access our stuff.
Well, you know, that in itself is newsworthy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I think I just got a perk from that because I had put in a hold for a book that I guess is, I didn't realize how popular it is right now. And I was told I had some crazy thing like 16 weeks to wait for it. And the next day I got a notice from Libby saying that my hold was ready. So I don't know.
I'm not talking about an article. Can somebody at the library look at the Blackstone Valley Tribune,
No, I
open it up,
understand what you mean, Betty.
and see and it can be the same every week if it's the same. I'm not sure if theirs are the same every week. Don't we have anything on Zoom or anything that, I mean, look at the other libraries. They have crafts online, and if we don't have anything, well, of course we can't put it, but look at what they have there, and we must have something that's available for patrons.
Deb does story times.
Yeah.
She does them like seasonally. Like she doesn't do them like every single week. It's like she does a winter one and then takes a few weeks off. She does a spring one, then a few weeks off.
Well, that's what could go there. It doesn't have to be available. I don't know if the ones in Uxbridge and Whitensville are available to other towns, but the people from that town who read it can take part in it. It doesn't have to be available to all three towns. Just so you
like
know
get our
about
calendar there, even if it's not available for everybody.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. It doesn't just if it's your calendar or an event or anything. It people will know that it has to be your library. You know, so just send it, Justin.
Another thing you could mention is the interlibrary loan. A lot of people don't realize that if the Douglas Library doesn't own it, we can get it for you from another library. I mean, I'm getting what is it called? Yellowstone, that the TV show with Kevin Costner in it that Douglas doesn't have, but I've requested through interlibrary loan and I've got mine now. So I'm fixed for a while. So
Well, that's what I'm distinguishing between just the calendar events that you see in the library corner relative versus a news item.
Well, not
exactly.
You could just mention it. Don't forget that you can request these things.
Right. Yeah. The calendar, the library corner is more of a calendar saying,
right,
you know, Mondays at 1:00 is toddler story time or knitting.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. We have plenty of articles. They're fine.
Right.
Okay.
That Kim Perlucci or whatever her name is, Kimberly, does all that reporting.
Right.
She usually copies and pastes from my email newsletters and just puts it in the paper.
Oh, I thought she came in and talked to you.
Excuse me.
I thought I saw her in there. Well, that was a long time ago.
It must have been. I wouldn't recognize her. I don't know who she is.
Well, that explains why the Whitensville Library went with our article then, doesn't it?
That's right. They don't know. That's right. That's a good point. She didn't recognize the building.
Except that was it. That was a good one. That was funny. All right.
Libraries look like the Whitensville Library.
The people who've never been to a library, I guess.
Yeah.
So did we want to go through this, or did everybody look at it and
I
agree
think
with
we're
it?
fine. I don't think there's anything, do we need to come to agreement? Are we in agreement? I know the next step is then for Justin to set goals. That is the next thing.
So are the goals in here? I haven't read this.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
down.
they're at the bottom. I'm trying to scroll through. My computer's going, it's kind of hiccuping on it.
Yeah, I see that. You know what? Mine did the same thing going through that. Maybe it's the thing itself. So that we agree on the goals at the end. I don't think there's any discussion about how people rate him.
I would just want to say kudos because most of these are
Yeah.
4s and 5s. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Oops, there's a
There
one.
was one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that,
Saturday morning programs didn't.
right.
We have struggled with programs.
Yeah. It's a crazy time.
Well, that's not a bad recommendation of Justin. That's the way the times are in the town.
Right.
It's not that he didn't
Yeah.
try or didn't put effort into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There was one of these goals from last year. Effective use for funding of library, effective use of funding for library loans.
Get that one.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Not sure what this means. Not sure what this means. But that was a goal that someone set for me last year, and I wasn't sure what it meant either.
I think maybe it was grants. Maybe someone meant grants.
Well, you get it from, I mean, it's part of their, that's what they do. You know, they get it from other libraries, so.
I don't know.
Or they get it, they buy it themselves, one or the other.
I don't know. I think there's two different possible uses of that word, loans. Anyhow. Okay.
Objectives. Okay, focus on outreach to obtain funding for library accessibility project. Great job. Seek additional grants and funding for renovation project. Continue fundraising for handicap accessibility. Keeping the doors open. When possible, work to plan to recover circulation and programming after the pandemic. Coordinate with friends to keep fundraising in the forefront. So fundraise, basically, fundraise, fundraise, and get the library calendar and the Blackstone Valley Tribune and the New Uxbridge Times. And write good articles for the Yankee Express, because you don't really do calendars.
I think those articles are wonderful.
Pardon?
You do a great job, Barbara.
Thank you.
Agreed.
The events, the calendar pages are not there anymore because basically nothing has been,
Right.
happening. We used to have like 3 or 4 pages every issue of full of events, and
I
it's
know.
really sad that there's really.
Well, just to follow through on what Betty was saying too, maybe have a monthly article on, I mean, it's an objective, but it's,
Right.
it's
Oh, yeah.
a monthly article to,
Right.
on
Right.
something like interlibrary loan or delivery or
yeah.
whatever.
And we've done it in the past, have done an article about library passes. For example, in the summertime when it comes library passes, when people are more likely to use them. Justin did a big article about that a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And he's sending me something on the auction that's coming up. So that's different, right? For the
Yeah.
next issue. So those kinds of things, I would classify those more as, news types of things or educational articles versus.
I don't know.
calendar.
You know what? I don't know. People are into these 30-second. It used to be 2-minute sound bites. Now it's 30-second visual bites that you have to rope somebody in with. But Justin, the story you were telling about the increased circulation in books from December of last year to December of this year is significant. and your chance to tell the story of what your staff and you have done to provide reading material to so many people in town. And like you say, who was it? Dawn said she's like, it turns out everyone has a pet. You know, just little pieces of that to make that could be an article. And do people take the time to read that? I would hope so. You know, something like that I think is great.
Yeah, it's more personal. It's more engaging, more interactive.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, people love the delivery, that's could definitely be promoted more too. So you're talking about going to people's doors and this is what I,
Well, I remember in the spring when in early summer when Justin came to my house and I was so excited to see him and we were like flitting around each other with masks and like, do we hide our heads? And
So Justin, so why don't you get Gail to do like a little travelogue?
oh, that would be awesome. Would she do it?
Gail's not really a writer. I can.
You can tell
her.
her.
Well, she
could do like
chats
a
with you
journal.
and you can write it down.
Yeah, she could do a journal and then you can transcribe it into witty,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it,
That's a good description.
commentary.
I'm gonna have to look up travelogue.
For
Well,
God's
just
sake.
a
God forbid.
diary on what her delivery.
I know, just do it.
We can
Yeah, but what would that
don't,
look like
you
in
don't
a
have to
paper?
define the words.
we can come up with a title of some, that's catchy. But I want an exclusive.
Exclusive with
There
Gail.
you go. She's going to demand more pay.
She deserves more pay.
She certainly does.
Mhm.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of this.
Okay, so I think Danielle, at some point, like you and me are supposed to get together, like print this out, look at it, and both sign it.
Exactly.
And then give a copy to Matt.
Right.
Yep. So do your final thing of what the goals are that we agreed on. And
Where's the agenda? Oh, it's over here. There it is.
so you get in touch with me and we'll work out. I'm very flexible. Okay?
Okie doke.
Just let me know.
But sooner than later.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at I actually have a current calendar in front of me. Last month, I was looking at a calendar from October, but we took those down, and so now I'm on January. Hopefully, I remember to turn it to February for next month. But anyhow, I'm open. Just let me know.
All right, maybe Thursday, after Gail gets back from delivery, I can swing out and we can sign stuff.
Or do you want me to come there, or is it what's easier for you?
We'll figure it out after the meeting.
All right. Okay. All right.
Then I can notarize it.
Yeah, there you go. I'll look to see if I need anything else notarized while you're here. All right. So down to friends.
Well, I'll start and then Justin could go into his winter book auction thing. But Kate's been doing a fantastic job, and Justin and Caroline Dorval, who is our president of the Friends, have been working hard to put together a flyer, which we are going to bring to the post office tomorrow for mailing. So it will hopefully get to people on Thursday. I was talking to Rebecca about this, and she says, now tell me the logic behind all of this. And I said, well, Monday and Tuesday, people are broke. So, and Thursday is when they get paid. So we should get the flyer to them in their hands by Thursday, and Friday and Saturday, people get a lot of junk mail, so they just sort of chuck everything. So that's why we're trying to get it out to people in their hands by Thursday so that they will be generous and mail in their memberships and stuff like that. So,
That's fine.
and Dawn, if you could do something on the social media, you know,
Sure.
reminding people, you can wait until you get your thing, and
Yep,
or
yep.
you could say beforehand. It's what color would you say it is, Kate? Throw up green or something. It's
I
a
haven't seen
disgusting
it.
color, but or Justin would know what color it is. You just did it in not color, so. Oh, he's going to get one, so you'll see what color it is. And so that's no, it's much brighter than that. It's much brighter than that. It's
Like bright green, like,
it's a bright green.
It doesn't look very bright on the screen, but it's,
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it's much
it's like
brighter.
neon-y green. It's
Yeah.
too
So
broad.
that's going off fairly quickly. Yeah, and look at we got a picture from Donna and David Metz. They had out in front of their house. And then this is Sarah Guimond. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Diamond.
The box thing. And then keep on going, Justin. We had this picture with all these masked people, and that's Paul Peterson and Karen Yacino and Justin with a check from, it's not for the Friends, but it was precipitated by Paul asking them to for a donation and stuff like that. And then this nifty picture of just, I think that's Gail there, but of the library.
Oh, great.
So that's
I
sort
love
of
that
cool,
picture.
too. So let's hope.
taken from on top of the foyer, the front doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So I could write on this too, that we're 22% to our goal, right? We're still pushing. This would
Yeah,
intent,
yeah.
right, would be for the building fund.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we would, anybody that we did get, I don't know, I think it was, somebody gave $1,000 and we asked, well, do you want it to go to the building fund? And they said yes. And then somebody else gave 500 and they too said they wanted it to go to the building fund. So there was quite a bit of stuff, and total in there. I think it's on the first page, Justin, go up, it's written in your piece. It says that so far the Friends raised this past year $14,943 for the building renovation. So that was pretty cool.
yep.
Can one of you send me, probably not the flyer, but maybe that overhead image? I used the image of the building, the clay image of the building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd like an image to share on social media, and ideally that overhead or the Unibank photo.
Probably the overhead one would be better, because
Yeah.
this one actually didn't go to the Friends, it went to the library.
Yeah, I don't know who has that image, but
I do.
okay.
There's another one I can send you too. That's like a picture
Yeah.
of the books above the door. That's sort of like a fundraiser thermometer thing.
Oh, yeah. That's great too. I can do more
Yeah.
than one, but one initially. And so the call to action is like to donate, but they could also donate their time if they can't donate money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always an option. There's one, actually, we get $1,000 from one person that does volunteer. She used to work at Texas Instruments, and because she's a retiree, she puts in enough time volunteering that Texas Instruments sends us $1,000 for her volunteering.
Nice.
And that's really cool if people have that ability. And I don't think I only worked for municipalities.
I've been nonprofit my whole life. I'm lucky I got out with a pension.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but one could remind people that if they have that option, then that's
Yeah, some companies
Right.
have
Yeah,
like
that's a big
matching
thing.
donations and different kinds of
It
things.
is. Yeah.
yeah. Right. So that this happened is good. The other thing that I've been doing with the friends, and I got all the, my kids accused me of what is it, hoarding. So last year I thought, oh, they're going to come in sometime and
I gotta get rid
I'm
of
just
stuff.
going to throw away all the papers that are here. So I gave them to Justin and he had them nicely packed away. The official things that notifications that I have to give to the Secretary of State and the Attorney General and the IRS. And so he had them all. I still have them right down here on the floor, but I just have to, and maybe it's snowing right now. I could.
It is.
No, I gotta
Yeah.
watch
Watch it
Yellowstone
all wet.
today though. So, I'll
Oh, well,
procrastinate a little bit longer and then Justin sent me a 1099 form from Stripe, who were the people that collected the money for the auction. And I
Mhm.
think I got one from emailed to me by PayPal as well. So I have to look that one and print it up. But I do need those, Justin. So thank you for sending it to me. And now Justin will talk about what he has right here on the auction that starts fairly soon, Monday.
February 1st.
I'm
So
curious.
we've got 183 book lots all sorted out up in the loft of adult fiction, nonfiction, large print, kids picture books, middle grade fiction, young adult fiction, manga, graphic novels. It's all just ready to go. So if you go to the website and look at the Friends page, it's also featured on the front page. You can look at the inventory now. You can start bidding on February the 1st.
Okay.
And bidding will last pretty much the whole month of February. It'll last until the 21st. Unlike the first auction, everything just starts at $1 and the bidding increment is whatever. So hopefully people will find things they want and kind of start little bidding wars with each other, because that was one of the
I'm trying to
That's the fun
purge
bit.
things from my house, but I'm sure I can gather a few books. I know.
and the book lots are pretty big because we did a big weed of the collection. We're weeding it down. We're doing an inventory right now. We're scanning every single individual item in the building so that we have like this item was inventoried on January 26th, 2021.
Right.
So we can find records that have not been inventoried and get rid of them because we know that they're ghost records for items that aren't here anymore.
Right.
And then we're going to use the core collections thing that we bought that we talked about last trustee meeting to break the juvenile collection into 3 different collections that are more age targeted. Anyway, basically we've done a lot of weeding. So we have like an auction full of books, and then we have the friends room downstairs is also like full of books again. So like we have enough books to have a big auction, and then we have enough books to have a big book sale as soon as we're able to do that without taking any more donations or anything. So like we're full of books. We got to get rid of some. So these are big book lots. So let everybody know you don't have to be from Douglas.
You avid reader friends who could possibly clear out some of them.
And there's a lot of large print too, because our large print collections died once I taught all the seniors how to use Libby.
Yeah, that's what my mother-in-law does that. She has her Kindle.
Justin, can you send me an image for that too? Like, or maybe I could just pull it off of the auction site. Something
Yeah.
showing a group of books, whichever 1 or 2.
Yeah, the auction site has tons of groups of books.
Okay. If I can grab them off there, I will.
Mhm. Tons. Fancy cookbooks, not fancy cookbooks.
Oh, I can't tell you how many cookbooks I put in the dumpster
Why?
because
Were they
I have
covered
my
with
book. I have
flour or
my
something?
book that I have printouts, and I have to admit that mostly I use the internet now. of.
And because the library's not
I have a
taking
book that I
donations.
have filled with my favorite recipes, you know, but,
That's the best kind, when you've put notes in them and
Yeah,
I love those ones. I
Yeah.
love finding them.
I
in
have a zucchini bread recipe that has to be 50 years old.
Yeah.
That's from my mother-in-law.
Mhm.
And I use it every time I have zucchini.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Share it next time, Danielle.
I will. We'll wait for zucchini season.
Yeah.
How do I end up with two of these?
All right, where are we?
Business or other?
No.
No, we're back to that. That was a long time ago.
I messed up something.
You did.
We gotta find it. Scroll back
There you
down.
go.
There we go. Annual report.
I liked it.
Yeah, perfect.
It's
Sounds
different.
awesome.
How
It's
much
different
more
than what I
can you
usually do.
be? Here's what we did and what we couldn't do. Thank you very much.
Did everybody get the chance to read it?
No, I haven't. I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, same here.
We'll read it after.
Okay.
Should I read it out loud or?
No.
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah,
Then
I think it was great, Justin.
yeah.
I'm going to step
thought it
away
was
for a minute
awesome.
then, if
You
that's
know
all right.
what? And this is going to go into history because people are going to be looking years from now at archives of towns and cities and things like that and say what was happening. And you have a perfect, whatever you want to call it, narration
Well,
of
It's
what
a good chronology of
happening
just
on the ground.
reflecting- It's a good chronology of what was happening
Mhm.
as time went on.
I like the March 17th.
Yeah. Okay, can we scroll through that? Are we good?
I don't think we can do anything. I think Justin has to come back
Oh,
and
just
scroll us through.
decided we have to read it anyhow.
Well, yeah, we can read his other one, but I don't know how to. I'll probably lose everybody if I do. But annual report. So we'll favor it. And do you want to have a motion, Danielle?
For, yeah, accepting the annual report,
Sorry, I'm back.
the annual report. I'll accept a motion for that.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of accepting the annual report as written?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, carries unanimously. Send it to the presses.
And that's Suzanne at Town Hall. And the pictures I wanted to include were like a picture that, you know, like I posted it on Facebook a long time ago of where it was actually Taryn Mead's kids had like basically put out like a sign on the door thanking for book delivery the same way a lot of other people were putting out signs thanking emergency workers and stuff.
Yeah,
That's cute.
That's kind of what I wanted to include with this.
yes.
When I went this past week to buy my Powerball ticket at the family convenience store up here, I didn't win. We could have had the library all redone, but I did notice there the can on, and it's the only, I think, fundraising thing, or just focused, my eyes just went to it, for the library. It was one of those jars for that your friends, you had mentioned them in the last, your last month.
Ernie Rowe.
Yeah. And I was impressed with how much money was in there.
Where was that, Ellie?
You know.
Ellie, where was that?
It's on, if you're on the left-hand side, the regular place where you buy stuff at Family Convenience, it's
Yeah.
right there in front of the cash register.
I go there all the time.
Yeah, and I never had noticed it before.
Oh my goodness gracious, I will have to put you know what? If somebody puts a $20 bill in there, people are gonna see that and they're gonna be like, oh, I need to put my money in there.
Well,
think
maybe
I'll do
put
that.
$100 in, Danielle.
Oh, come on. You know what? I'm putting the 20 right now.
You know, I've asked them
I gotta pay my
repeatedly if I could like
taxes.
get them together to like take a picture and write an article, you know, and like give them credit and kudos and stuff, but they're really not interested in it. So
I hear
I'm not
that.
gonna push
I
it.
respect that. I really do. I think that's what it's all about. That's what it is. That's what everybody tells you to do. All the good people. For the last 10,000 years have told you to do things like that. But I digress.
But yeah, I was, you know, like, you know, I kind of started out writing this report on Thursday night, and I got this far, you know, imagining how devastating 2020 was. And originally I had written, you know, so you can imagine how deeply devastating, you know, I found 2020 on a personal and professional level. And then just recounting the events between March 12th and March 17th. I mean, that was just such a chaotic week.
I know. And that's where.
Like I bought a 6-pack of beer on the way home. I just couldn't finish the report. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't finish it. And then, you know, I came back to it and,
Yeah.
you know, ended it and kept on going through it. You know, we accomplished a lot in 2020. And I do think that it speaks to the resilience of our community and, you know, the position that we were in. You know, I mean, and you know, I don't mention it in the report, but you know, a lot of it, you know, goes right back to the override that, you know, the town has us to thank for. Because if it hadn't have been for that, then, you know, we would have been in the same situation that a lot of the other libraries in towns were, where, you know, once the budget uncertainty started happening, they had to lay people off. They had to furlough people, and things got really bad. But you know, we had resilience here. We had, you know, we were able to make it through the year, and you know, library services especially. You know, the pandemic drove a lot of people to reactivate their cards. It drove a lot of people to sign up. Drove a lot of people to figure out digital technologies that they never would have otherwise. And, you know, sure, the building is empty, but, you know, it's an accessibility issue that we've always had to overcome. And, you know, the pandemic just kind of cranked it up an extra notch, you know, getting our services out there to a community that can't easily come in. It's a problem we're used to dealing with.
Right. Yeah. I also think that Justin, you and your staff did an amazing job of utilizing your time and talents to get necessary things to people in need in the community early on, as far as delivering food and meals and all that kind of stuff in the beginning. And then you guys just continued when that abated with the mental needs, with the need for books. And I'm deeply moved by it. I really am. Thank you.
But some of the creative approaches.
Thank you.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, like a lot of things lined up in our favor. We had the funding to keep our staff on. After the emergency operations center kind of reorganized, and you know, we agreed to kind of put our staff under the auspices of the senior center or the adult social center and do whatever they needed to be done.
Right.
Technically, that made us part of the emergency operations response. So, you know, that was like April 9th when I reactivated all the staff, because technically we were classified as emergency personnel at that point. So I could do that. then once we were kind of finished with that task, we were already back going and stuff. So, we were already kind of back in and had people working. When other library directors were still, their staff were still stuck at home and they didn't know how to get them back in.
Right. Yeah,
And that gave us a lot of flexibility.
yeah. I think that's great.
And, we had a staff that was, for the most part, kind of rearing to get back in and do stuff rather than, wanting to stay at home, which is
Right.
an anomaly, I guess.
Depends. I don't know. But I think it's great. I think it is. I really do. So anyhow, trying to move the meeting forward. The 2022 budget seems like it's what is expected. And there's nothing much we're going to do from that.
Yeah, I love the fact that we're not talking about Mar anymore. I'm sure it'll come back one day, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But anyhow,
I guess in the meantime, let the good times roll.
you got it, baby. All right. Any other new business? Hearing none, our next.
Wait, no, there is. Can I buy this?
Oh, good God. No, you cannot.
Well, the Friends will pay for it, but
Appropriate.
it's up to the
In front
trustees
of
to
the
decide.
library.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I do too. I like it.
Isn't there a prettier one?
Like this one.
Fun.
Car wash?
If you took
Tacos?
the pencil stick guy in flames, I'd go along with that. Yeah.
We deliver tacos.
That would be
Oh,
popular.
Justin, are you serious are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm dead serious.
You need,
I really want this sign.
you actually need the board to vote on it?
Well, I'm saying.
Can
the
I use
Friends-
library incentive grant money to buy the Neoplex We Deliver 12
Well, you
foot
tell me.
size windless swooper feather flag We Deliver sign?
I think it's a good idea.
I do
Well,
If
too.
there's
I-
people at the
you
bank
use it.
saying they
No,
don't
do
believe
whatever
the
you want.
library delivers, then we need something bigger that says we
Yeah,
deliver.
colorful like that. Well, but just beware. It says flag only. Is there a stand like you
Yeah.
can get it in the ground?
Oh, we might need a
Right.
stand.
Yeah.
There stands over there with the pizza sign.
Yeah. See, you gotta I have one of those.
What
No, go back to see where it says we deliver? No, you keep going too fast, Justin.
where the
There,
first
half-
sign that he showed?
There, no. You need to do the display thing too.
Heavy duty,
Just the
right?
banner.
That's sponsored.
This,
That
the
has to
stuff
go
down
look like
below.
it. Fits with that though.
Yeah, it has to go over a
But
thing.
you see under model hotel or whatever it said, those were different signs there. I don't like those ones. I think somebody's just going to pick it up and the pizza people are going to steal it from you.
You know, Ellie, I hate to say it, but
What?
I thought the same thing as soon as I saw it.
Well, it says right there, it has to be used with a very specific thing. It's right there in the description. It
Where?
says look, go back to the original thing.
I
It
don't
tells you
think
what
it-
you
Flutter
think
flag
it would.
hardware.
Huh?
Oh, that's like $97.99 for the hardware.
Oh, yeah, go up. It looked like
No.
those were more reasonable.
No, but
Sorry,
look, what
Justin.
it says to use a specific one. It only works with a certain one. If you look at the
Right,
original,
exactly. So you have the right, you're gonna spend over
read what it says
$100.
there. It says must be used with Neoplex king size 5-piece
Right,
flight.
Cool.
So you have to
Visual
buy that.
right.
Well, see what you can get for, if people are in agreement, then go for it, but don't spend too much money.
I would.
So that's $48.88.
So like 70 something, 80.
There's got to be some kind of like big flag like that we can mount from the side of the building.
I suggest that Justin do further research into this and report back to us with a
But
proposal.
can we
in
approve the
February.
spend? Well, it's friends' money, right? But we agree
Yeah.
with it, just keep it under.
Okay, all right.
$50 or something. Yeah.
I don't want a swooper one.
You keep going too fast.
I know, we are old people.
No, but went too fast. You went right by what gave you the whole thing that you needed.
Well, I don't want that because it's like $98.
Well, you know what? Then deal with it, buddy.
Yeah, don't spend too much money on it, though.
I want to spend $98 on a flag.
No.
Because if I wanted to spend that
Have a
much
little
money, I
voice
could
coming
get.
out of him. Justin, it's time to be done.
Yeah, you could make a sign. You could have one of your talented people make a sign and put it in the glass. I don't know what they're called. The windows that are above the front door. That's glass. It's behind where the picture of the circulation desk.
As long as they can see it from the bank, they need to be able to see it from the bank.
Why don't you put it in the library sign?
It is in the library.
Yeah,
sign.
it is. It's
Apparently,
just
that's not
people
enough.
don't look at that anymore. So
It's gonna be waving in the wind, so that'll catch people's
Yeah,
attention.
I think so.
I still want to see the flaming guy with his arms waving.
Well, anyway, do something, Justin, and they won't approve of it, so
Yeah,
we'll pay for it.
report back or do something.
Just,
Yeah,
I'm trying
let
to
us
put a
know.
link in the chat. I don't know why the chat doesn't seem to be working. Oh, here we go. This is what they do, these flags. And they look like, well, it's hard to say if everything's there, but it's like $17 to $67.
$17?
17 to 67. I can't tell real quick, if that includes everything.
Oh, that's a nice thing. I mean, it has a stand, so.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute. It says, go back up a little bit. Custom feather flag, single and double sided. It's not, you have to have the base.
Yeah, they sell the base. I
Mhm.
just can't tell yet how it all comes together.
Okay. Yeah,
We'll poke it.
you poke it.
There's got to be just like regular flags, because we've got ways to mount those to the side of the building.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just like a vertical.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
There's a
It's like
guy
a
down the
banner flag made out of
Justin.
canvas that's not going to rot.
Justin, there's a guy down the street from me who still has some flags flying from his house from before November 4th. I could ask him how he has them going.
Yeah, when you sign the review of Justin, Danielle,
Yeah.
you can provide him with all that information. I've got to start cooking dinner.
All right, I'm done.
And I didn't cook dinner. I got to go have a tuna fish sandwich with my family. They're probably whining about that, but that's okay. All right.
Okay, did anybody not show up at today's meeting?
Oh, I was thinking we should probably do a roll call, right? Aren't
We were supposed to do a roll call. That's my fault.
Okay,
Well,
Is
Justin,
Dana not here?
who's not here?
Dana might not be.
Oh, Dana's not here. Everybody else is here, right?
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Mhm.
All right.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
You all.
This meeting is adjourned.
Hi.
At what time? At 5:20?
And, I don't have a clock
5:28.
in here.